Welcome, my friends. Welcome to the outer fringes of reality, where fact meets speculation, where paranoia meets illumination, where madness overlaps the fragile membrane of sanity. Do not be afraid. Open your eyes and open your minds to that region that lies beyond the realm of the known, that region we call the Exo Zone. I am your host, Dictor Van Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth, and with me is my co-host, an aficionado of all things fringe, the Nerdrotic Channel's Gary Beekler. Gary, sir, how are you this afternoon?
I am doing absolutely wonderful. Sitting in sunny San Francisco and ready to get strange. Got a lot of fun topics to talk about today. Yes.
All right. I cannot wait to hear what you have cooked up for today's episode.
Well, today I was thinking we could talk about the storming Area 51 and how ill-advised that probably is. We could talk about Area 51 itself. Yeah, it's just a dumb idea, but I mean, let the kids do it. I almost want to go and watch from afar. Yeah. And then Rendlesham has been on my mind of late because that was a big part of the disclosure trickle that we have been getting from the To the Stars Academy that was part of Unidentified and coordinated, in my belief, with the New York Post, was doing a series of videos. You can go check it out. It's called In the Basement with Nick Pope. I keep finding I keep hearing new information on Rendlesham that I didn't know. And this is a case I've been into since I saw it on In Search Of. I believe it was in the 80s. That's probably the first time I heard of it, was on Search Of. And
that was probably around the time that I learned of it, Gary, as well. It's a very, very famous case.
Yes, it's one of the most well-documented UFO cases. We have multiple witnesses, 3 main characters in it who had 3 very unique and different perspectives on it. And we learned a big on Unidentified. We learned something big, that the government, this completely confirms that the government is behind this disclosure, because they let it be known that there were tactical nukes on the base. There were not supposed to be nukes in Europe during the Cold War. That was, I think that was part of a treaty, or it was just, it's obviously they weren't going to talk about it, but there was enough tactical nukes there to kind of wipe out half of Europe, right under the ground in jolly old England. I'm sure they were very happy about that. And I'm not sure, are they there now? What did they do? Did they fly them home? Did they ship them? Where are they? Did they get rid of them? Are they still there? Who knows? Who knows? But the UFO apparently buzzed these things, and I didn't know that. And we're going to talk about Pennington mainly, and his getting beamed binary code in his head. That is interesting because it involves a little time travel theory that I watched in the basement video that might actually be possible, which is very strange. And it's from a theoretical physicist who doesn't know anything about the Rendlesham incident. So there's that. And then we'll do a little talk of multiple realities. I found an interesting article. Actually, we can start there. I can pull that up. Hang on, give me just a second here. Greetings, chat. And we got a couple super chats. I will get to those in just a second. We want to start our opening spiel here, but let me get to my bookmark. I hope everybody's doing great today. Who do we got here today?
We got a ton of people, I'm sure. I got to pull this up.
We got Terry B, Warren Roar, Astasia, Obion. What's up? It's Obi-Wan 27883, who I met at he's a real person. He's a very tall person, by the way. I don't mean to dox you or anything, but he's like a foot taller than I am.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Abby Olace, and greetings, everybody. Your dog's news. What's news on my dog? They're sleeping right now. They're all sleeping until the mailman walks by, and then you'll hear him go crazy. Mr. Roboto, everybody else is here. Everybody's here. That's great. Where it's this is the cool place to be right now.
Hell yes.
God, yeah. And it's so nice to be home. I was gone for like almost a week at Comic-Con, living in that little Motel 6 room, which was, hey, it was great. It was, a week at Comic-Con for under $1,000. Hell yeah. All right, so we got multiple realities. Here we go. I just kind of skimmed this, so I don't know. And so the reason I'm bringing this up is Doomcock has some great theories on this stuff. So I want to see how this compares. Multiple realities might actually exist. Now, this is from Medium, so this is, take it with a grain of salt. But a new experiment seeks to show there are multiple realities. What if your entire reality wasn't quite as it seems? Well, that often feels like that. What if you had your own reality and I had my own reality, and everyone living in their own physical real world bubbles that others only crossed over into on occasion? New science suggests that this may be the case in some instances. The physical world that we share together, the world of space, time, and matter, might not matter. No, I'm just kidding. Might not be just one world that we share, but many worlds that we sometimes share. A new research paper, which was dated February 13th, 2019, claims to have evidence that may show that for everything that that there is in time-space, every event in the real world of physical objects, there may be distant realities, totally separate versions of the same event happening to the same objects. Most of us has seen a cartoon like this one, and then you see the cartoon.
Yes.
69. The cartoon essentially sums sort of what the experiment says. At least on the quantum level, but in our physical reality, rather than a mathematical concept like the number 6 or 9, we're talking about the tiniest bits and pieces of reality that make up things like tables and chairs. Yes, this quantum thought experiment seeks to show that when you and I look at an object, independent realities actually take place for that object based upon our observer perceptions. The experiment, called experimental rejection of observer independence in the quantum world. Quantum, I'm sure there's tachyons involved. Contains all the requisite math to state its case clearly and precisely, and isn't just throwing random ideas out there without any scientific clout. It's like the parallax effect married to the observed effect, and they had a couple of kids. It's actually an extension of the 1961 experiment, which was dreamed up by Eugene Wigner, called Wigner's Friend, a theoretical physicist who studied the elementary particles which make up our world. His theory basically said that if two different people observe the same thing from different perspectives on the quantum level, whichever differences their perspectives introduce into their perception, or whatever thing they were viewing, would manifest in the actual real world beyond just their minds. What the recent study did take Wigner's experiment and multiply it, testing it against a wider backdrop of reality. For a brief refresher, it's the necessary scientific ideas which led up to the idea for the experiment. The uncertainty principle and quantum superposition. I'll quote the appropriate section from the quantum suicide experiment. There's a quantum suicide experiment. Wow. Who did that one? A related story here on Medium. The idea behind the uncertainty principle is the proposition that any object cannot be measured in both position and velocity at the same time, not even in theory. Everything that is or can be measured can only be approximately measured. Seeing as position and velocity are dependent upon one another, one could essentially only accurately measure one or the other. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle served as the roots of another famous thought experiment in the world of quantum mechanics. Schrodinger's cat, Schrodinger's cat, which employs Heisenberg's uncertainty principle in the form of a question. I just imagine a bunch of old guys with pipes sitting around thinking. and tripping on acid. What does a thing stop when does a thing stop existing as a superposition of states and officially become one or the other of the possibilities that it could be?
If I could interject
Go
at this
ahead.
point, basically, what superposition is stating is that particles and by extension perhaps larger manifestations of matter, but definitely particles in the quantum theory, exist not as fixed points, but as in a state called a probability cloud. And this probability cloud consists of every single possible position for that and velocity for that particle. And the superposition state collapses into a final position once that object is observed. So essentially, this article is essentially saying that okay, when different events are observed, it is basically manifesting these different observations in the physical universe. But it just seems to me, Gary, and I'm not, I mean, I haven't read the whole article, but it just seems to basically be stating another way of stating that when you're, observing the 6 on the ground and one guy says it's a 6 and one guy says it's a 9, well, those observations do not just split off 2 instances of that object. It splits off 2 instances of universes, each one containing that object. Essentially, every possible outcome of the universe is manifested. It splits off into another entire universe. So when you got up this morning, if you drank a coffee first or went and had Jaloja first, there's 2 universes where each of those things happen. You split off 2 entire universes by changing your decision. And that is basically kind of what it's saying. At least it seems to me at this juncture.
Whoa. That's all I've got to say about that is whoa. I've always, and it's interesting. So yeah, I've always had this theory, and I thought of this when I was tripping balls on acid. Okay, so just
all right.
Remember, this is Gary's tripping balls on acid theoretical physical theory of reality and four window pane. That I am just in my own reality. Oh, I'm a singular thing walking through multiple realities. That I don't have one reality that I stay in, that that it could change on me at any time. So basically having a lifetime of Mandela effects. And there might be other me's out there, which is a scary thought, but we will never intersect, but we can intersect these multiple realities. When you drop acid, I don't know, don't do it, by the way. It's not good. Drugs are bad. Okay. The one thing it feels like every time, not every trip is the same, but one thing it felt like, and believe me, it's been decades, so can remember this a little bit, is it feels like you're behind a veil. Like you're kind of in reality, but you're kind of not. You're definitely, does something chemically to your brain where it just shifts how you connect with people, how you feel. And that's why the group of people you drop with, if you all drop at the same time, you feel like spiritually connected to them, like you've known them for years, even though you just met the toothless guy who was at the Dead show parking lot, who gave you the acid and decided to want to hang out with you all night, which didn't sound like a good idea at the time. But at the end of the night, like, he's your best friend, and then you never see him again. But right. Yeah, it's bizarre. It's bizarre because it just feels like you're observing everybody from the stands, you're observing reality from the stands. Yeah, that's it. I'll get back to this quick, and we'll get to the UFOs. Don't worry, people. Don't worry. Quantum superstition, superposition is a strange phenomenon. I got to I got to read slowly. It basically states that elementary objects actually exist in many, many states at the exact same time until what you said, until they're observed by a conscious agent. That's the question I have. At which point they take form. So what about a tree that's in a forest that's never going to get observed by a human being with on a conscious level? It's getting observed by animals and stuff, but not by somebody or a being of our consciousness. Does it exist?
That's a very interesting question. I'm not entirely certain, because I believe that the universe itself is pure consciousness. Because otherwise, when there were no eyes in the universe at the Big Bang to manifest anything, then how did anything manifest? So therefore, the act of human consciousness is not necessary to existence. However, because it is such a focused and particular consciousness, it has a strong influence on probability clouds. And when it is observed by a human, the probability cloud collapses, possibly with a much greater speed than it ordinarily would with the kind of non-local consciousness that pervades everything. So that's kind of my take on that. And I think that that's the problem with Schrodinger's thought experiment, is that the cat is conscious. Therefore, the cat would observe what's happening in the box, and it would resolve there. But it's just an idea to convey how weird superposition is. That the cat, it's not only that the cat is, we don't know if the cat is alive or dead in the thought experiment until we open the thing and see if that radioactive isotope is dropped and killed it. It is that the cat is both alive and dead until we open the box and look, thus collapsing the probability cloud.
Wow. Up in smoke, man. Quantum?
Sorry.
Well, no, it's asked. Okay. No. That's a good answer. It's a good answer. It's just that, it's man. I'm a high school dropout. I'm amazed I can get my head around half of this.
Dude, you're a traveler of both time and space.
Yeah. Quantum superposition. Quantum superposition basically states that any object exists in multiple possible states at all at once. And it's not until it's actually observed by a conscious agent within the universe that a definite position and velocity solidifies within reality. Right now, the chair behind me in my bedroom as I write the story could be knocked over by the dog. Quantum superposition states that the chair is also, by all probability, both knocked over and not knocked over at the same time. And it's only when I set eyes on it and see it for myself that it actually takes a definitive form. Until then, it's suspended in its superposition. Freaky, right? The idea is that reality on the quantum level is actually a blurred reality, resembling a weird, your cloud, blurred gradient particle soup, more so that macro level, more so than macro level dense concrete objects were used to. Schrodinger's cat experiment utilizes the principle. I thought we went over that. So, experimental rejection of observer independence in the quantum world. What the recent experiment did was take the Wigner's friend experiment of 2 people and multiply it by 2 more people. The mathematical equations were ran and everything fell into place perfectly, basically increasing the likelihood that Wigner's concept of reality was right, or was it? In essence, the experiment proved that the observer effect doesn't just prove that the act of observing an object changes the physical reality of the object, but that the differences in the observation from each party involved manifest in individual respective realities. For every quantum particle, there's as many realities for the same particle as there are conscious agents who've looked at it. This also means that any form of objective measurements that we use to determine what reality and what what's real and what reality is like are essentially meaningless because they can be distorted through different observational positions. In other words, we reach the end and we go, well, we really don't know. I like that picture though. That's so cool.
That is a gorgeous picture.
Dang. We'll just stick on that for a second. It's trippy stuff. It's trippy stuff. All I can say is, like we're still basically, monkeys, and just imagine, 10, 20 years from now when we, get like, getting our brains all twisted with this stuff. I mean, you could go forever tripping on this, and it kind of reminds me of a tweaker working on a radio. It's like he'll get it working, but it won't look anything like the radio he started with. And this goes way back, but I'm going off my life experience.
Absolutely.
But we got Mike Brown for $5. Attacking an Air Force base in the desert comes under nuts. It's nuts, and I don't know if they're I mean, is that what it is? They're going to go raid it and say, "Show us the UFOs," and a bunch. I mean, I just see a bunch of freaking people from Twitter. So I'm thinking a bunch of blue-haired people running around in the middle of the desert in September when it's about 120, or it's monsoon season, so there could be flash floods out there. Plus, there's one road in. And they do know that mostly people are flown out there, right? And there is security everywhere. I'll just have you know that I've hiked to the mountain above it, and they don't even like you doing that.
Right. I know, dude. Listen, I think what they think, Gary, I don't know. I don't, I'm not schooled in what quote thought process that they're doing, but I suspect that they think that they're just going to en masse just fall on Area 51. And it's going to be like a John Williams score at the end of, E.T. or something. And they're just going to walk up, and it's going to be like the fall of the Berlin Wall, where everyone's just going to link hands. And, there's going to be men with guns there. And they're going to be, what do we do? And close up on the guy's face as he's sweating. And the hippie girl comes and puts a daisy in the barrel. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's exactly what they're thinking.
The name of this book will be Blood and Patchouli Oil. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to get disclosure. Love is not one of them. We're not going to get disclosure with love. Jeff McKelvey for $10. Hail Jeff McKelvey, 3D Trekker.
Yes.
I love you guys. We need you both, and I can't wait for more great content. Hey, that's nice to hear. I know Doomcock is working on great content. I'm working on questionable content. I'll say it's questionable. I was pretty happy with my last video.
I'm so overwhelmed and swamped, and I apologize to everyone.
It was dead. It was dead before Comic-Con, man. And then after Comic-Con, both of us are like, we have like 25 videos to make. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh God.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about it on the Inquisition this Sunday. What Robert, we're not going to get into it here because this is UFO talk, but what RMB dropped this week was pretty significant. We'll just say,
yeah.
Adam Child. Hail Doomcock and Gary, may the blessings of Avis be upon you both. And you discuss the many forms of life that exist in the universe. Yes, the universe that is teeming with life. It's everywhere. We just happen to be in the backwoods. That's all. But they're here. They're here. They've been here for a long time. They're visiting what they're doing. Who knows? That's why we talk about it here.
Well, you're going to talk about some other ideas about these visitors later related to Rendlesham Forrest.
Yes.
A hint.
Yes, that's a good.
Not a spoiler, but a hint.
Yes. Do you watch? Thank you, Adam Child. Do you watch Knowledge of Forever Time yet? I don't. Did you watch Knowledge of Forever Time yet? No, I haven't. Obi-Wan 27883 for $2. I will though. I will, though. I'm probably going to do it after I get back from Vegas. This is like a brief stay at my house before we take off to more convention craziness. Yeah. So, Rendlesham. Let's talk about Rendlesham, man.
All right.
Rendlesham Forrest is like one of the most well-documented UFO cases. It's been around for years. It's evolved over time. So I've gone back and forth on it. To be honest with you, I don't know how you felt on it, but I first heard about it, I believe, on In Search Of, and it was the first guy who talked about it wasn't the main three who talk about it now. And this guy's like out of the picture. And I even forgot his name, but he was an MP, and he was the first guy to come out about it. And he was the younger one. And apparently the three guys who talk about it now weren't supposed to talk about it. And over the years, we get more and more information. So real quick, Rendlesham was, there was a Christmas, but was it Christmas Day? I think it was around Christmas. It was either day after day of Boxing Day or something like that. And there was a Christmas party on the base at Rendlesham in the UK. And there was, they got a report of seeing some lights in the forest. They thought it might be a plane crash or something. So they, a couple of guys go out there and they investigate it. They come back. They said, yeah, we saw this orb flying around. It was the weirdest damn thing we've ever seen. And because remember, this is over multiple nights. This wasn't just one night. And then it happened again. And then they got the highest ranking officer out there, and he's the one who did an audio recording of it. Okay. He did he every time the guy went out for anything involved with security, he'd bring a tape recorder and just narrate it, you know? So there is audio recordings of the narration of the Rendlesham incident. And they are really bizarre and cool as hell to listen to. I've heard them multiple times on our bell. I'm sure you have too.
Oh yeah.
But so I always just knew it as for many years, and correct me if I'm like, I always knew it as just a sighting that got documented that had the audio commentary, and that's about it. And then more and more information came out. How much did you know at first? When did you first hear this story?
I think about the same as you. I heard that, there was stuff going in the forest. I heard that, I believe I heard that it may be set down at some point. I knew that there was a tape recording, and I knew that also it appeared that there were other light sources, as if it was being looked for or searched for or something. But that is about the extent of it. Now, there was a lot more to the story, as it turns out, though.
Oh God, yes. Okay. So there was the orb that was dancing through the trees, and then there was the craft, the actual craft that had writing on it. I'm trying to pull up this writing here. Give me just a second. But
absolutely.
And there was the beaming of binary code into the brain of Sergeant Pennington, I believe it was. I'm not sure.
Well, now that is something that was a way later revelation, as far as I know.
Yeah, I'm talking. I remember hearing about that maybe 8 years ago. Rendlesham. Gosh, dang it, I'm having trouble.
Sorry.
No.
Why don't I read a few chats here?
Sure.
While you let's see. The Epstein. Oh no, we don't want to go into that. The Epstein trial. Well, he's asking. Okay, I'll ask. Daniel Nowlin asks, does the Epstein trial qualify as an episode of Exo Zone? Prostitutes have come forward and named Bill Clinton, Chris Tucker, Kevin Spacey, Prince Michael, and Puff Daddy as clients. I don't think that is probably Exo Zone material. Did you say something, Gary?
Something. Yeah. I would say it's probably not Exo Zone material until if more breaks and it gets into a cabal and the conspiracy stuff, maybe. And I think we're getting close to that. It's definitely interesting. I'm definitely paying attention to it. I've been watching this dude for a long time. I marvel at how long it took to arrest him. And it just shows that, the powerful just get, but it's something we will discuss. The thing is, man, YouTube, it's a little safer on this channel because if something happens, oh, well, that's kind of what this channel's for, but we want to keep it to the UFO stuff for now. But I won't talk about it in the future. I think we would get some more information, and it would be on this channel. It would not be on my main channel. But right now, so we got the writing. This is the writing that was on the Rendlesham ship. So it's this is the this is the thing I have trouble believing. Because this looks so. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It could be. I mean, like, how crazy would that be? And this is just his notes. Okay, like it probably looked a lot different. And I think it was in relief on the ship. He felt it, and it felt bumps. Like he went and touched it. Pennington touched the ship.
Wow.
Which I probably would have done too. And you get an idea of how big it was. They built a model. It's not big at all. So this is the writing that was on it. And I had a picture up here of, that's about how big it was. That is a model that they made, of course, but that was about how big it was. So I can't imagine anything. I mean, maybe a little gray being in that, like maybe 2.
Wow.
But that's how big they said it was. There's tons of evidence of this. I mean, this is a extremely well documented case. And I'm sure this is the one like most everybody's heard of.
Yeah.
Pennington.
That's the one. And it's amazing that it was sitting there. They actually touched it. That's astonishing.
Yeah, it was hovering over the ground. It was glowing at some point, and then it stopped glowing, and it was this deep black, metallic black. He said it was cold to the surface at touch. The last time I remember him saying that. So but he lost time. So both guys who were involved lost time. Pennington. I'm blanking on the other one's name. He co-hosts a show with freaking Linda Moulton Howe too. So one of them lost time. One of them had severe health problems. He had scarring on his heart where he had none before. And this happened to him when he was a young man. He was in his 30s, maybe late 20s at the time. And when you talk to both of these guys, they were very serious military guys, and there was a lot of stuff they couldn't talk about, like knowing the nukes and everything. Like finding out about the nukes on the base was a big deal on Unidentified. That's something I didn't know. And once I heard them say that, I'm like, oh, this is definitely like the government is okaying this. This is disclosure. We're actually seeing it. And I would love to hear your guys' speculation in the chat of why you think we're getting disclosure now. Is it for political reasons? Is it trying to cover something else up? Trying to distract us from who knows what? Maybe what we just talked about? I don't know. But what this is one of the cases that really made me a UFO believer, like this one, because I don't think 4 guys in the military would make shit up. And these are just the people who would come out and say anything. There's other people on the base who saw stuff and just won't speak, won't talk about it because of just whatever, because of the stigma, because of losing benefits. Like one guy, it took John McCain's assistant to get his benefits, because he went to go get his benefits when he found out he had health problems and he didn't exist. He was classified. So apparently he was so classified that he didn't exist in the military anymore at that time period where he got injured. So they wouldn't give him benefits, and they had to fight like hell. And it took John McCain and his assistant to get his benefits. And that's real. And they interviewed John McCain's assistant. She's like, listen, I don't know what happened over there. I just know this guy needed help and nobody was helping him.
Mhm.
So it was the goodness of her heart that got, or he would have probably been denied. That's real documented shite right there. Making me believe it even more. About as far as the binary code being beamed into his mind, I'm willing to entertain the thought. If we're going to believe in UFOs, why not? The message that I'm going to paraphrase the message that was received. It was basically planetary research, advancing the project, and they said they're from the year 8100, leading Pennington to believe that this UFO was us from in the distant future. And as crazy as that sounds, in the New York Post, video, they talked about Lamette, theoretical physicist named Lamette from New England, who was independently working on something, no knowledge of the Rendlesham Forrest incident, on time travel, an actual time travel device that you would send basically particles either back and forward in time, and you can change the direction of these. Of course, the person receiving this message would have to know they're getting it. So I would imagine he would, if he was able to build this device, what he would do is set a date a couple of days from when he builds the device and goes, okay, I'm going to send myself a message 1 year from today, and it's going to say this, and see if he receives that message. That's the only way you could test it, right? And you send it to yourself 1 year. So you send I don't know how they did it. I could certainly look it up. You take these particles, and if one's pointing, you can change the direction of them. So if it's pointing up, it's 1. If it's pointing down, it's 0. So you can send binary code to the future or to the past through particles. And it made me think of CERN. It just made me think of CERN, and they brought up CERN in this thing as well. And
Wow.
I had never really completely understood what CERN exists for. I thought it was to, it's a particle, you smash particles together, and you're trying to figure out, basically what makes up the universe itself. But apparently it is there to find other realities. And we have a lot of people in chat talking about CERN causing Mandela effects and stuff, and who knows, but I thought it was fascinating that this guy's working on like an actual time machine. A real scientist is working on one, not one where we could travel back in time or even observe time, but send code, which is basically how you start out every form of communication, is just on the most basic level, right? So, and I thought it was interesting. I don't know. What do you think? I will try to find this guy. Let's see.
I think that's bizarre.
Yes.
I can't really get my head around it. I don't know how someone would ever receive such a thing. Okay, so you're transmitting this binary code. Well, why hasn't it shown up yet? I mean, where are they broadcasting? And also, if that's the case, how the hell, if they are from the year 8000, which seems improbable to me, I don't know. I'm not optimistic about our survival chances long-term, frankly. So the idea that we've persisted to 8,000 is bizarre to me. But even if we had, what the hell would they hope to accomplish coming back here? It's puzzling.
It's
And
Millet.
I can't really.
No, I don't buy the 8100 thing. That's the thing that's a little too much for me. I'll be honest with you. But let's go to the BBC. BBC 1, BBC 2, BBC 3. Here it's Mallet. I had dyslexia of the memory, but I'm like Spock. I can understand things better because I'm dyslexic. We can build a real time machine. Traveling in time might sound like a flight of fancy, but some physicists think it might really be possible. BBC Horizon looked at some of the most promising ideas for turning the the staple of science fiction, into reality. Ron Mallett has a dream. He wants to travel in time. This isn't mere fantasy. Mallett is a respected professor of physics. I think of myself as being an ordinary person with a passion, and my passion is the possibility of time travel. Well, we need more human beings like this, to be honest with you. Like really smart people working on time machines. I'm actually all for this. We just, hopefully they're not evil. I think Professor Mallett has wanted to build a time machine for most of his life. His passion, he explains, he can be traced. It can be traced to the tragic event early in life. Ron's father, a heavy smoker, died of a heart attack at the age of 33 when Professor Mallett was just 10 years of age. Ron was devastated and withdrew into books. A year after, when I was 11, I came across the book that changed everything for me. It was The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. And the University of Connecticut physicists told the BBC Horizon. The cover caught my attention, but it was when I read the inside and it said scientific people know very well that time is just a kind of space that we can move forward and backwards in time, just as we can in space. When I read that, I said, this is wonderful. Professor Mallett explains, if I could build a time machine, then I could go back into the past and see my father again and maybe save his life and change everything. Well, we can't do that. We know we can't do that. So time travel may sound far-fetched, but scientists have already explored several mysteries of nature that could one day see Ron's dream fulfilled. Albert Einstein thought of the three dimensions of space. Three dimensions of space were linked to time, which serves as a fourth dimension. He called this system space-time, and it's a model of the universe that we use today. But Einstein also thought it was possible to fold space-time, creating a shortcut between two distant locations. The phenomenon is called a wormhole, and it can be visualized as a tunnel with two openings, each emerged at different points in space-time. We all watch Doctor Who and Star Trek. Wormholes might exist naturally in the cosmos. Indeed, scientists in Russia are trying to use radio telescopes to detect them, but using wormholes for time travel won't be straightforward. The nearest one might be light years away, and even if we could get there, it would take a long time. But some physicists have speculated that we might be able to conjure up bespoke wormholes at some point in the future, though we currently have no idea how. Physics also predicts that wormholes would be able to have a habit of collapsing, crushing whatever's inside them. If the time machine is ever to exploit them, we'd have to find a way to stop that inconvenient feature. The mysteries of the phenomenon of dark energy might provide the solution. In the 1990s, astronomers found that the expansion of the universe was speeding up rather than slowing down, as might have been expected. Something out there is having an anti-gravity effect. It's pushing rather than pulling. We don't know what that is, but it makes up most of the universe. We call it dark energy. How old is this article, by the way? Let me go look. It's not that old. Because didn't they just figure out? It was 2015. They discovered gravity waves. That those actually exist. Those were always a theory until 2015. I want to get to I'm going to try. Professor Mallett has built a tabletop device that illustrates the principles he thinks will be used to build a real working time machine. First, lasers are used to generate a circulating beam of light. The space inside the ring laser should become twisted, like stirring a coffee cup, the university professor explains. Because space and time are intimately connected, warping space would also warp time. Professor Mallett's theoretical work has shown that given enough laser intensity in a small enough space, it should be possible to alternate the normally linear timeline we all inhabit. If space is being twisted strongly enough, this linear timeline is going to be twisted into a loop. If time all of a sudden is twisted into a loop that allows us the possibility of traveling into the past. However, In order to make it work, the concept would require vast amounts of power and a way of shrinking everything into a microscopic scale. Well, there's always
Fantastic voyage.
I'm trying to get to the part where they get to
that weird little like music they had for a Fantastic Voyage. Remember that?
No, I know, right? Here, I'm gonna get to here. I'll just find this and I'll show screen grabs of it. Basement Nick Pope. I saw this right before we started the show, and I thought it was really, really interesting. Episode 6. I'll just show a screen grab from it, and that'll be a lot easier. Oh my God. I forgot I'm on Nerdrotic Live, so I have to watch commercials on.
I see.
Give me just a second here. And we're going to get. There it is. So so he's not entirely sure how to send this message, but he could. So I showed that a string of subatomic particle. I showed that a string of subatomic particles or neutrons could also be arranged so that some point up while others point down, representing zeros and ones. These zeros and ones can be then encode a binary message, which could be sent into the past or future. And they tried to relate that to what Pennington observed with that ship. I think it's a bit of a stretch, but it's interesting that they came to that, those two things were independent. But I think it's pretty basic that's probably the first thing we would try is to send binary code, to the past and future, or Morse code. But I think they would probably think that binary code would be the most understandable. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I still don't know how they would send the message though. Would they would still have to create a machine that would require amazing amounts of power just to send that message. So, because you're still having to bend space and loop space and make a pretzel out of space, which is very difficult these days.
That's right. And so either this would be a test message or it is bullshit, because it's not that really critical a message to send, I don't think, is it? I mean, the one that he got beamed into his mind. So, I mean, that could have been like a test, or it could have been, like I said, it's just not terribly accurate.
I think what Pennington, the way he put it was he intercepted it. Like it wasn't meant for him. So it was like maybe a communication between themselves that he just tapped into. He said he started seeing ones and zeros like in his mind and with his eyes. Like he started seeing it. It's tough to swallow. It's tough to believe. I don't know. I fully believe in UFOs and other dimensions and stuff, but I don't know. I have this line I can't cross with certain stuff. And the thing is, if something can travel in interstellar space, it could certainly beam shit in your mind. I should be able to believe this. And sometimes sometimes I just require proof. That's why we discuss it here on the ExoZone. We consider all possibilities. So Mr. Roboto says for $5. Gary and Doomcock, if you met space aliens, knew they existed, had proof, would you share that knowledge or say nothing?
If I had proof?
Yeah, if you were the only one who had proof, like you have evidence, everything that it would take, unquestionable, would you tell anybody?
Yeah, I'd go hugely public, and I would, definitely want to, claim it. It would further my global domination schemes. Certainly, it could be monetized and spread awareness of my message, and then I would rule the world. How about you?
Yeah, I monetize the hell out of that. I'd go on my channel, and of course it would get mirrored everywhere. But as long as I was first with it, I think it'd be really good. Yeah, I'd monetize the hell out of that. Come on,
Well,
let's
I'd
do it.
probably sell the information to, the New York Times or some television outlet for a vast sum, trademark the photographs or whatever the evidence is, copyright it, whatever the case might be. And yeah.
No, and I definitely want the public to know that one. Now, where I wouldn't share it, and this might sound crazy, but I wouldn't, is Bigfoot. If I had legit proof that Bigfoot existed, I would be okay with knowing it existed, and say it was a situation to where they're endangered. Somebody
Right, of
want to go out
course.
and kill it or something like that. It's like nope, nope. Yeah, it'd probably give me some money, but believe it or not, money's not everything to me. I'm not. I've been dumb enough to turn down large sums of money before, so it's okay.
Oh yeah, I would never
Yeah.
contribute to the decimation of a species or put any kind of cryptid in danger. Like if Makili Mbembe, say, was real. Well, God, but people would want to know. I mean, I've always wanted to know about Nessie, but I never wanted Nessie to be captured.
Yeah. If I
It's
knew they
tricky.
wouldn't like go out and hunt it and kill it, and they would end up killing the last one or something like that, and
Right.
people would just be okay with it and leave it alone, sure, no problem. Not I don't want to sound like too much of a hippie. I mean, like people hunt, that's
No,
fine. I have no
absolutely.
problem with that shit. It's just with Bigfoot, it's if it was
Yeah.
like the last one or something or the last family, I would I'd keep it secret probably. Um, wouldn't want that mark on my soul. Mexican Iron Man for $2.99. Hail the best show of the week. UFOs everywhere. Well, Doomcock's seen one, damn it, and has photographic evidence of it, which he showed on his channel, which is on the Harvey Zone, right? You can
Yep,
find that
that
on the
that is
Harvey Zone.
right. That is
Uh,
absolutely right.
and I have yet to see one. And okay, so on my drive home from San Diego, I stopped in my secret spot where I don't like sleeping at rest stops. And I used to
Mhm.
drive back and forth to LA to San Francisco all the time to work. And I found this secret location where there's a big empty parking lot that nobody knows about to this day. And I mean, I've seen a car in it before, but I mean, it's just this giant dark parking lot where I can go park under a tree and go to sleep, not have to worry about getting like robbed or anything while I'm snoozing. And I brought my binoculars with me and I looked at stars for a couple hours. I didn't see shit. And it was the clearest sky ever. It was like you could see the Milky Way, you could see everything, and it's a rare deal in California. So you have to go to Central California. You got like not near any civilization. And there are lots of parts of California that are near nothing. And I went out there and stared at the sky for 2 hours and didn't see anything.
Well, but they are sometimes cloaked. I don't think there's any
That's
doubt about
true.
it.
Saw a lot of shooting stars, but Euler Greg is here, so he's going to talk about the Mandela. By the way, hail Mexican Iron Man, did a great job on your video for
Damn
Galaxy's
right.
Edge. Yeah, thanks for the $2.99. Euler Greg for $5. My brother asked me to investigate Mandela. It is real. 99% can't see. As a Legionnaire, I support the Exo Zone. CERN, VR, God, souls are sliding / Houston Oilers #1. Houston Oilers. They had the best theme song for a football team ever. Listen, and I come from San Diego, and we had the disco San Diego Superchargers song, but it wasn't as good as the Houston Oilers song.
Damn.
Bum Phillips, man.
Oh yeah.
I used
Oh
to
yeah.
like Earl Campbell.
Oh
Um,
man. Right.
yep. Uh, God, what's the name of the quarter? He got traded to the Raiders, got injured, and brought in Jim Plunkett. I'll think of his name later. Cracklin, $9.99. I was in the Air Force in the beginning of war. What? Cracklin? I was in the Air Force. Oh, okay. I was like, you were in the Air Force in the beginning of World War II? Man, we got one of our oldest viewers here.
Damn.
Yeah, no, I was in the Air Force. And dash in the beginning of World War II. We had biplanes. By the end, we had jet fighter technology. Is amazing. I don't think it's alien tech, but I don't completely rule it out. Cracklin, we have advanced more in the last 100 years than we did in the last 1,000. It's like close to 1,000. We'll say 150 years. Our advancement has shot up so much. Something, and it just happened to be right after 1947. 1947. You know about the year 1947. The NSA was created. The CIA was
Interesting.
created. That's when Roswell happened. A lot of things happened after 1947. Could it be a coincidence? Sure. But I believe the deep state was essentially invented in 1947, and I think the Roswell crash had something to do with it.
Well, it is an interesting confluence of events, and yeah, I would not be surprised. I think that might have been a very sobering realization that could have changed the socio-political, fabric of our entire nation, if not the world. Although, I don't know, I've always wondered, like, what the hell is going on globally with UFOs between governments, and whether Russia and the US share UFO information, or if they just know the same things, or if some countries are more in the know than others regarding this phenomenon.
I don't think, I think they share superficial information to make it look like, hey, we're all buddies here. All of these countries want to the guy said it in Identify. Lou Alzano, I always get his name. We'll just say Lou. He said it himself. His primary directive at the organization he worked at in the Pentagon was figure out what these things are and exploit it. It's not figure out what these things are and try to help people or defend people or make contact or be friends with them. It was find out what these things are and exploit it. That was their first priority. That might be why they don't contact us. I'm just saying out loud. So the first thing we want to do is weaponize it.
Right.
Now, that is the military industrial complex that General / President Eisenhower, who was, I would call him a military guy, warned us about. And that's why that's such an alarming message. And when I first heard that, which was on Art Bell, I had no idea. I went through history classes without ever hearing that. And Art Bell said it. I'm like, that's bullshit. And then I found out that he actually did say that. It's on, they filmed it. It's there when a war hawk, a warmonger, some might say, I wouldn't say it, just a general says, beware of the thing I used to work for, spent my entire life in and love. That's alarming. And we should listen to that.
Damn right.
Yeah. I think that's your deep state smoking gun right there. Where the guy, he was in the know on a lot of levels. I would certainly say that some generals probably have higher clearance than presidents. I would say so, as far as, weaponry and stuff. And he must have been privy to a lot of things. And there's a lot of rumors that he went on a little visit and met with some aliens. There's that's out there as well. And there's the treaty. But whether you believe that or not, that guy was probably privy to more information than any average president. And for him to come out and say that is a big deal.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's he knew stuff, and he was trying to warn us as best he could. And unfortunately, if not deaf ears, then dumb ears. It just has fallen on out of our awareness, and thus his prophecy has come to pass, essentially.
It certainly has. And maybe that's I think a lot of people in ufology, if not most, believe that the reason it is that like disclosure is coming just this way, and I'm surprised we're getting it at all, to be honest with you. And the reason it's been kept secret is because of that exploitation. has nothing to do with the aliens. I think it's pretty evident that if they can travel that distance, they could wipe us out or enslave us whenever the hell they wanted to. And they haven't. So we can either say they've never been here and every single UFO case is just the figment of somebody's imagination, or they're just observing. And maybe they've contacted a little and said, ooh, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't really, I mean, of course, and there may be different races with different motivations, but
I think that's the case.
Yeah. And so if there are any hostile forces out there, they must be in some ways kept in check by some of the other members of the Federation, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, or a parallel thereof, a parallel.
It's probably a lot like just on a much bigger scale what life is here. There's planets that are primitive. There's planets that are, super tech. There's planets that are like Sweden. There's planets that are like Uruguay. I mean, it's probably just mirrors. It's like Hitchhiker. I've always imagined that Douglas Adams' view of the universe is probably the most accurate.
Probably so.
Yeah.
And Eric von Däniken, it's possible that the Fordian phenomenon of raining frogs is actually the geologia of the gods.
The geologia of the gods. Yes. Oh my God.
Doc, I'm peeing frogs. Is this a problem? Is that normal? Tell me it's normal, doctor. It's not normal.
That's what happens when you sleep with a super intelligent shade of the color blue.
That's right. That's right. Or a green Orion slave girl. You get a case of the green frogs, and it's still worth it. It's still worth it.
It's still, yes, it is. A little painful, but you get over it. It passes. Well. This too shall pass.
Geologia.
Andrew Tickner for $10. Observer effect is good evidence for simulation theory. I was thinking that parts of the computer game don't res until a player wanders in, and then derez to save computer space when no PCs are around to need it. Yeah, well, that happened sometime. Was it Diablo or Diablo 2? When you're in BattleNet, you'd go some places and it was because of a bug in the system. Like all of a sudden you see it just develop in front of you, like there was nothing there. And all of a sudden, that's interesting.
It is. It's like Elder Scrolls Oblivion, where like if you were running too fast on the system, you would come to a clear glade that would suddenly kind of res in trees and, animals and stuff. So maybe just to save on rendering, it's like that. There's also kind of a theory that if every single outcome spawns off a parallel universe, then all the universes may already be pre-rendered to some extent, where everything already exists, and the illusion of time is merely the consciousness running through that crystal of the multiverse. Like light through a jewel.
Wow, that's cool. I started thinking, oh man, I'm going to go on a Westworld rant.
Fucking Westworld. We're going to hate the hell out of that thing.
We are. Well, because the first season was supposed to be a journey through consciousness. So it's consciousness. What's reality? And then it turned into wham and power. Like,
right.
So we lost what would have been a great show, with a very competent writer, Nolan's brother, Christopher Nolan's brother, Jonathan Nolan. And it got overpowered by bad reboot, as these things do. Thor Draco for $2. Yes, there is only one realm and no life but us. That's the one thing I don't believe. I don't think it's just us.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
I
love Thor Draco. He's a good guy.
Yes.
But I'm with you, Gary. I in all this immense universe, I don't think that we're alone. I think that's a hell of a waste of real estate.
Yep.
Yeah,
to absolutely. But maybe Thor just requires, like, he's one of those people. It's like, I will believe it when I see it. And I
Mhm.
respect that. I mean, there's
Yeah.
like, there's some people who I don't have time to waste on theories and stuff. I got shit to do. And I respect that. I do.
Hell yes.
Fixie Clary for 99 cents. Thank you for the donation, Fixie. I do appreciate it. And yes, it's a dog with pink hair in the avatar there. I like it. Stephen Yarnell. I saw this Rastafarian was walking a dog at Comic-Con. It was me and Jeremy, and it was a Rastafarian dog. PETA would have freaked out. The guy died a white poodle, the Rastafarian colors. So it was a Rastafarian flag poodle, and he had a big spliff hanging out. You know, he was smoking a big old joint. This was right in front of the Orville experience, by the way. They dyed the dog's hair. Stephen Yarnell for $4.99. Absolutely love this show. The way you discuss theories is very Mulder-esque. Mulder-esque. Thanks, guys. Keep up the great work. You are welcome, Stephen. That is quite a compliment.
Well, yeah, but other people are saying something in the chat. Over easy mode says, Doomcock, are you stoned or are you really introspective? The answer is I am really introspective. I think about this stuff a lot. In fact, before I did my channel, I used to think about this kind of thing more than anything else. It was my obsession to come up with a grand unification theory of existence. And I did that and then decided to go and kick the shit out of Star Trek Discoursery. So I guess that's my evolution.
Yeah. It's very evident that you think about it a lot. And no, he's not stoned because it's coherent. I can understand it. I'm the one who goes, whoa, man. C. Walker, 94 for $5. Doomcock, still need your Plex screen name to invite you to server. You access the server through the Plex site. I don't have access to your info if that's your concern. So there you go.
Dude, I'm sorry. I've been meaning to actually do that. And if you could resend me the link or info, I've been wanting to do that. I've been so behind in my emails. I want to apologize to my friend Josiah Clinch, particularly, who recently, Gary, I'm sorry to take a sec.
No,
He
take your time,
recently
man.
sent me some wonderful, wonderful presents in the mail. Sent me some Eagle Moss Star Trek ships and sent me this amazing little cube that I call the cosmic cube. I've always wanted a cosmic cube, and it has like a galaxy in the center of it. Just gorgeous little thing and some cool aliens. Josiah, thank you so much, brother. Love you, and I'm sorry I've been out of touch. I'm also want to send out a message to Dilbertson. I will be back in touch again. I've kind of gotten totally swamped, but yeah, it is coming. And sir, resend me that link. I appreciate it.
Yeah, if you could resend it to me too, that'd be great. I just was traveling, and I'm like you. I'm just swamped right now. And the reason there is no picture is because my office is going through the great change right now. So hopefully by the weekend, it'll be done. But right now I'm surrounded, like you, I am surrounded by toys. I've got stacks of toys around me. And yes, thank you everybody who sends me stuff as well. It's freaking awesome. And I've got so many handwritten letters that I've got to read Friday. Can't wait to read them. Yes, very exciting. You guys are brilliant, by the way. Thank you so much for joining us. This show is so much fun to do. I wish I could do it daily. Unfortunately, time does not allow, but we'll definitely in the future try to do this more because it's just nice to talk about something fun and interesting and not talk about just the crap that's going on in entertainment. But although I'm not tired of talking about it, I just a break is nice.
Yeah, but it's also great to just get together and hang out, Gary.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just fun to have an excuse to hang with you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we do two shows. It's so brilliant. Show me the money. Here's Johnny. You talking to me? Says Euler Greg. I am. I'm talking to you, buddy. Thanks for the $2. Eric K for $2. Come on, Gary. At the Jack listening to Disco Duck. You know, that's my jam. Disco Duck is my jam.
Nice.
Yeah. I was enjoying I like to listen to Disco Inferno now because it reminds me of when I burned Star Trek Discovery Season 1, the Blu-ray on my barbecue to that music. Yeah.
Burn the mother down.
So the funny thing is I was at the Picard Museum, right? Quote unquote museum that I snuck in, and I walked around the corner and there was a bar playing out loud Disco Inferno. And I just thought that was a weird synergy. But I found the video of it. That's why it's in my brain. And any Dreckies have been putting me, they're all over my mentions right now. So that's all I'm going to respond to them with is the video of Star Trek Discovery burning on my barbecue.
Are you being beset by Dreckies?
Yes. Well, I mean, every time you release a Star Trek video, it's like it takes 24 hours, but they're there. It's the same ones every time. It's the same 8 people every time. It's entertaining. Honestly, yeah. Melissa was piping, and so sometimes Mrs. Nerdrotic will pop up on my Twitter. So if you see anything salty, a lot of times it's her. She's good like that. DJM Voices, $10. Hail Gary and Doomcock. I forgot the name, but there's another theory that if the universe is infinite, then eventually the same configuration of particles that makes up us will occupy another space.
Huh.
I'm trying to get my head around.
That's interesting. If the universe is infinite, then eventually the same configuration of particles that makes up us will occupy another space. Well,
yeah.
I mean, no particles are. I mean, nothing is created or destroyed from what my understanding is. So, I mean, yes, the particles that comprise our bodies and everything, they never go away. So, I mean, is that what he's saying, Gary, or do you have some other?
I know that's the best thing I could think of. That's something. Sometimes that stuff just goes way over my head because high school dropout. DJM Voices is obviously very intelligent.
Oh yes.
Thank you for the $10, and has very good taste, by the way, and YouTubers. Yeah. So let's get. We're caught up on that. I want to find. Okay, let's talk about this Area 51 raid. All right, so I just want to point out that if they go to Area 51, and correct me if I'm wrong, Doomcock, they're not going to find any UFOs there.
No, they're not. The UFOs have been shifted, or always were, over at Area S4, which is, I mean, we've used Area 51 as kind of a general term to encompass all of that, reality out there. But S4 is not the same location. And so what they're going to find is a bunch of bullets and maybe some, I don't know, German Shepherds or something, and a lot of heat and a lot of dehydration, probably some snakes. But that's about it. Yeah, I think it's a terrible mistake, dude, to go out there. I said on my stream, no uncertain terms, leave those guys alone, man. Listen, it's a military base, straight up, and you do not go and try to swarm a military base. You're just begging to be treated harshly. There's signs up there that say intruders will be shot on sight. It is a secure base, and unless you have a fetish for being shot on sight, I would advise you to stay away.
Totally agreed. You're not going to find anything. S4 is built, according to Bob Lazar, it's built into a mountain and it's 4 miles away, 4 to 10 miles away. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. And apparently you can see Area 51 on Google Maps now. That's how secret it is. So let's take a look. This is Area 51. This is Groom Lake. There's Walmart right there. Is there really a Walmart right near Area 51?
There's a Starbucks. You know,
That's not
maybe
Walmart.
Khaleesi used it.
That's not freaking Walmart. That's where the UFOs are. Walmart 51. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. So what's that right there?
Uh-oh, it looks like a Nazca drawing of a phallus.
Yeah.
Or actually, look, zoom in a little bit more, Gary. It looks to me like a Klingon disruptor from the films,
Oh yeah.
The Next Generation.
Holy crap.
Ooh.
Oh,
The Klingons, sir, are not fiction. They are actually a model of an actual race that is a warrior race and hostile to us all. West of the Rockies, you are live on Coast to Coast.
the ghost of Art Bell is with us. I was thinking of you at con, dude. There was a guy, he was selling all the, the diamond, Art Asylum diamond collectible Star Trek ships, like all of them.
Oh, wow.
They're really good. They go for like 80 to collectability wise, they're like 50 to $80. They have
Yeah.
sounds. They look really cool. I have some hanging from my ceiling. The guy was selling everything. He's like 50%. It was the last 2 hours of Sunday. He's all 50% off everything. I couldn't carry anything because
Oh.
I could have had some of those ships for freaking $30.
Mm.
God,
Oh, that sucks, dude.
well, that's
I
the
love
bad.
those Art Asylum ships, dude.
They're so good. The crappy thing about con, I know you've been there in the past. Uh, there you used to be able to take a bus that would take you like to the front of the con. Now the closest place you can catch an Uber is 4 blocks away.
Oh, jeez.
You can't get any rides. So essentially, if you're going to do any big shopping, you have to be staying in the 2 hotels, the Marriott and I believe it's the Hilton. It's right next to, which is like $1,200 a night if you get in early enough. And yeah, it's not worth it. So yeah, so here's the area they're going to be raiding everybody. Let's just go. Okay, so there is a road there, and that's it. That's it. So there's your road where you can get in right here, and all they have to do is shut it down. So are people going to drop in?
By parachutes made of daisies and love.
This is where they test the UFOs. No, I'm just kidding. So S4 is supposed to be here. I got to try to get S4 is over. Yeah, it's on Papoose Lake. So there's Area 51. You have to drive all the way around this mountain. This is according to Bob Lazar. And there's a beach spa, but there's supposed to be some kind of S4 supposed to be over there. And there's a spa right there.
Damn, there's a spa.
Awesome. Awesome, man. Sugar bunker right there. Yeah. But this is it. Yeah. It's, and there's Vegas.
And Bald Mountain is there too. So Chernobog emerges at midnight.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Cool.
I've always wondered. This is one of the things I do at night because I'm bored. So I'm really into Randall. I've gone over this before, but Randall Carlson stuff. He talks about how. So if you back up here in the United States, all this area right here, if you can see my mouse, most of this was under about 2 miles of ice, especially right here. You can see where it's all flattened down and stuff. And Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock both have a theory that pieces of a comet hit this, melted everything in the course of days. So
Ouch.
some of this giant flooding, there's signs of it right up here, and you can see just even the scars in the land, but it's right here where Kali City and Chelan, right in between it, there's like a little this is where the most this is called I forgot what it's called now. It's basically all scarred land. All right. So it's just sediment from Canada, by the way, imported by the water. And all this just flooded out And if you back up and, thanks to Google Earth, it looks like it just completely melted. This, like, all this just washed out.
Uh,
It's crazy that's why maybe there was mass extinctions 12,000 years ago and stuff. And that's what washed all this out. A lot of weird stuff in the desert
oh man, yeah.
around California and stuff that you can check out. There's in Blythe, there's big petroglyphs that are like mini Nazca lines. I didn't even know those things existed. But yeah, they were there. It's like there's so much stuff we don't know about. But yeah, you don't want to go to Area 51 because it's in the middle of goddamn nowhere, and it gets effing hot out here in late in September. Oh, there's Taco John's right there. So
that is just bizarre. I guess that serves. I don't know. That's bizarre.
Taco John's. Maybe it serves Area 50. Yeah. I think people are fucking with that. I don't think that's an actual Taco John's.
I don't think so. Or a Walmart.
Yeah.
Somebody, I guess this is the Wikipedia of Google Earth.
Yes.
But Papoose Lake over there. I don't know if people in the chat know this, but Papoose is an Indian word that means if you can see this lake, you're too damn close. That's what Papoose means.
Yeah. What happened to all these lakes, man?
Dude, I don't know.
Tons of, like, you go back and they're everywhere. Lake.
But are they really lakes, or are they like barren, like dry lake beds?
They all used to be like, they're barren lake beds, but they all used to be lakes. All of those used to be lakes at some time in the past. And what happened?
I don't know. Maybe Sodom and Gomorrah were actually in Nevada. And that was basically turned to salt and dust. Who knows?
The Papoose Lake Beach Front Resort. That's so funny.
Well, I said, and like I said, if Papoose Lake, if you can see this lake, you're too damn close. Old Indian phrase.
But I mean, if enough people like are really going to go out there, I would make the drive just to observe it. I wouldn't be part of the raid at all, but the people watching, it would be insane.
Yeah, well, the massacre watching, and then you'd have some stuff for your YouTube channel, I guess.
Oh well, yeah, I could bring home, yeah, or maybe
and the Darwin Awards go to the Area 51 crowd.
Oh, wouldn't it be funny if they just go, okay, let's just fly one for the hell of it, and then we'll use we can test the weapon systems on it.
Exactly,
like a sonic weapon that evaporates everybody.
Oh my god. Yeah. That would be bad, but also kind of funny. Look, if you go out there, you deserve what you get because you've been warned. It's not going to work out well. Please don't go. Okay.
Do not go. There's been multiple people on multiple streams who have actually, I saw one guy, I think he super chatted Nick Ricada. I mean, it could be just bullshit, but he's like, I worked on one of these bases that had the same signs, and they are not kidding. Once you pass that sign, when it says lethal force, it's not a light warning. It's lethal force.
Right.
And they do not fuck around. So don't do it. Gary, did you see the Big Finish diversity apology today? No. A Big Finish statement on diversity and equality. Oh no, Unhinged Crank, are you trying to ruin my day for $5 and $2 for $7?
What is he? Well, I mean,
I gotta look at it. It sounds like to me, Big Finish, which is does great audio dramas for Doctor Who, is probably going to go woke because what they largely are based on with their Doctor Who stuff is Past Who, which just certainly had a lot of white people in it. So what are they going to do? Recast the Fourth Doctor, the Sixth Doctor, or whatever?
God, are you kidding?
Everything is getting screwed up. Amazon's gonna jack up Lord of the Rings. They are gonna jack up Lord of the Rings. I'm gonna freak out. I'll lose my mind on that one. Unhinged Crank, I'll have to look into that for the other channel. I've already got like 3 videos I got to do.
God.
Someday. I'm going to do one tonight, but somebody sent me an article that, ooh, wow. But we can get to the chat here. Doctor Who is dead. Yes, it is. Okay, we are at okay, we can go for a little while longer. Yeah, we're gonna try to keep these at 2 hours, by the way, as much as possible.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Google Earth Nevada nuke test sites. Oh, that'd be kind of cool. We could do that.
Wow.
Nuke.
The Not a Bot says the military will use their sharks with laser beams that they got from the aliens to vaporize anyone who tries to invade the base. Those sharks are mean, man. They got an attitude. I absolutely would not want to encounter them. Craig W. says they burned loads of toxic stuff at Area 51 in their burn pits. I wouldn't want to go there. Yeah, I really don't want to go there either. I just think it's crazy. Last Tixon says the real alien sites, you will never see them on map or on news. No duh.
No.
Absolutely.
No, there's a bunch of airbrush stuff. I spent a night. I spent a lot of time on Google Earth, and I spent a night looking. That somebody had pinned all the airbrush sites just in the desert of Nevada and California. There's tons of them, and some of them are like perfectly square. So they're obviously covering up something they don't want seen. And they do it for other countries too. On Guadalupe Island, which was the subject of the last Unidentified, which is right over here. They airbrushed out the Mexican naval base that's there, and yeah, you can here. I'll show it to you. They just airbrushed the whole damn thing out, and I can't imagine, the secret Mexican base. Crisis on Infinite Tijuanas, by the way. It's just still my favorite title. That's going to be the name of my autobiography. But yeah, so there's a base right here that you're never going to see. It's all right here. So this island is cool. For one, there's a volcano.
Oh yeah.
And this is where all they said the Tic Tac UFOs that were that they went over and Unidentified, that this is where they ended up, right here. So
right.
On the north, there's a giant magnetic anomaly apparently right here. And notice it's really blurry. It's like extremely blurry right there for some reason. It's just maybe that's just so they traveled from San Diego to here, and that's where they went off the radar, was right there. And they tracked them all the way down to the point where Lou Elizondo and another guy got on a boat to interview fishermen. They were not allowed on the island because they weren't Mexican citizens, only Mexican citizens. So they had to stay on the boat. And they talked to, I guess there's a lot of great white sharks around here. And there's a guy who studies the great white sharks, and he even said he's seen lights and stuff. So yeah,
I think the UFO bases are largely underwater.
Oh, absolutely. I think the USO thing is that's listen, I mean, just look. There's a lot of places to hide.
Yeah. Coke Man says it's so weird that they don't put more effort into covering that. I can do a better job in Photoshop. Yeah.
Yeah, I agreed. But don't I mean, look at the Disney posters. Even for the Marvel Disney posters, the Photoshop is just awful. Yeah, there's a lot of bad Photoshop in the world. I agree. The USO thing is very interesting though, and what really sucks, and I've said this before, is I grew up in Southern California. I never saw a UFO, but every single person I know has seen one down there. Like they're all over the effing place. And there was a bunch of sightings over 9/11 when during, was it 3 days they weren't flying in the air? It was 3 days, right? 2 or 3 days where there was no planes. Now there was jets going over San Diego once in a while, but there was a bunch of UFO sightings that day, or those 2 days too. I didn't see anything. I didn't see shit.
That is a shame, man. Well, I've gone my whole life without seeing something, and then I saw that amazing something, and yeah, it's cool. I can't believe I saw it, but there you go. Oh, Kapla, Bird of Prey 5. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you.
Kapla. How you doing, Bird of Prey? Oh, what's up? Back from the Burnett work. Cool. I got to go see what he said. He was going to talk more about Star Trek. I forgot. Is it San Francisco that has the naval base in the shape of a swastika? Maybe. The Google. Oh yeah, it might. Yeah. That's on one of the Google 10 strangest things found on Google Earth.
Wow.
And there is a naval base in the shape of a swastika, which is terrible.
That's not good.
There is a giant penis thing too. And I think it's done on purpose, and it's somebody's mansion or something like that.
Oh, wow. When you said there is a giant penis thing, though, I thought you were going to add, but he's no longer working on Star Trek Discovery.
No,
the best.
We can tease something for. Hopefully, we can both talk about it by Inquisition. But I know you slightly talked about it, and I'll just tease here. There is stuff going on behind the scenes, folks, at with Picard. And it might be positive. I'll just say that it might be. I'm not sure.
Exactly. Yes.
Shite is going down. Oh God, this is one of those dumb.
It's just hard because I don't want to go with this stuff unless I'm pretty sure. And stuff is so much in flux right now, Gary.
I'd say the best here, the best thing I think we can do for is just expose what we know. I mean, like the worst thing you can do to Star Trek Discovery is review an episode. I mean, like just tell them, like, I'm not even going to give you my opinion on this. I'm just going to describe the plot of the episode. And that is the worst damage you could do to any of these episodes is their own writing.
Yes.
Because it's just that bad. It's an embarrassment. But what you and I are going to face with Picard is going to be nasty, because there's just the hypnosis with this one is strong. And
I know it.
And people love Patrick Stewart. I love Patrick Stewart. Do you think, I didn't enjoy putting Google eyes on him on my thumbnail, but that's, I had to do it. It had to be done. Because it's ridiculous what's going on.
It is. And I got to say that, boy, if they're going to save this thing, they have a whole hell of a lot of work and money to go. It's a
major uphill battle.
Yep.
But I would almost, like you said on the last Inquisition, you know what? It wouldn't be a bad idea to do what the Orville has done. In my case, and maybe in your case in the future, reach out to the fans and get their temperature, find out what they think, and show that effort instead of just. But I just think Alex Kurtzman's the kind of guy who just thinks all his ideas are great, even though he gets them from better men and women, and who are better at their jobs. The people at the Orville are, Seth MacFarlane is a great writer. He's just a great writer. Does he hit it out of the park every time? No, but what writer does? I mean, he's just a great writer. And then Alex Kurtzman is not, and Michelle Paradise is not. Sorry. There are great Star Trek writers out there that you can tap. There is no shortage of Star Trek fans out there. I mean, you got Doomcock is a better Star Trek writer than anybody who's ever been involved in Star Trek Discovery by far. And there's people out there who are willing to do it and would love to do it. Instead, they want to go outside of that for some reason. It just doesn't make sense to me, except ego. And then I understand it. I don't like it, but I understand it. Michelle P for $1.99 ExoZone donation. Hail Doomcock and Gary. Harvey too.
Thank you, Michelle P. She's one of my Legionnaires, and it's wonderful to see her here. Thank you.
Hi, Michelle. How's it going? Yes, 7 of 9 had a personality. That I don't know if that that might make sense within the narrative, but it seemed like it wasn't. It seems like I wouldn't do that narratively. I would still make her sound a little like 7 of 9, unless they had to do it.
Otherwise, what's the point? You might as well have
Exactly.
just popped a soccer mom in there and called it done. I
Yep.
mean, the thing about 7 of 9 that made her that way was her personality, her characteristics. And when you go ahead and pop her in there, and she doesn't have those characteristics anymore, even if time has passed, then what the fuck is the point? That's my point.
Yep. You're not watching the same show. You know,
Right.
if Picard, the reason we liked Picard, the reason I liked Picard, was he was very different from Captain Kirk. You know, he was an introspective man. He definitely wanted. He was very doctor like. He wanted to, you know, talk about things first, and that's what I liked about it. I don't want to see and there was always an optimism with him, with all of Star Trek, that I don't want to see him all Logan down, and that's what this is. It's
Yeah.
freaking Logan. It's the older hero protecting the specialist girl in the whole world. And yeah, they're just gonna they're gonna rip off something he was in, which is so ridiculous.
I know, man. It's just ridiculous. And the DJD show is in the chat, by the way, saying something that is kind of funny. Uh, the DJZ show is saying, I can say there is a good chance Watchmen will piss people off. Uh, I love your DJD show, but I'm just saying, no duh, Nostradamus. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. He says, I can't state specifics. My contacts might get in trouble. I believe you, sir. But holy crap. I mean,
Right.
if anyone who doesn't think it's going to piss them off is out of their minds.
Yeah,
I'll just say
DJD
that.
show does have legit HBO contacts. I can confirm that.
Oh, I believe him, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I
Oh,
mean,
dude, no, I watched the trailer. As a matter of fact, that is my next video. Doomcock and I are going to be all over the Wokeman like flies on shit. I
yep,
promise you that. We both feel
yep.
equally passionate about this project. So I did get some clarification from David Lindeldick, that this will be from comic book canon now. So it doesn't exist in its own. Well, they said the comic book is canon. So we are seeing a sequel to the comic book, which is, oh, why not just go off the movie? Well, I mean, like, I'm not going to like it anyway, but go off the movie. Don't touch the frickin' comic. But now they're going to touch the comic. So that
Yep.
makes it worse, in
Yep.
my opinion. And
How dare he? How dare that piece of crap go ahead and presume to tell the extension of the story that Alan Moore did with Dave Gibbons? That thing is a classic, and you're just vandalizing it. You're just taking a big can of spray paint, filling it with piss, and going through the museum. I'm so disgusted, Gary. Jesus.
Yep.
Mm.
So I'll get into the story more on another live stream, but 6 years ago at Comic-Con, I tried an experiment that kind of led to the Nerdrotic channel. I tried to do live broadcasts from my comic store and Comic-Con in 2011, when it wasn't easy to do. And I, with the help of a friend, lined up interviews with comic greats like Dave McKeon, Dave Gibson, and we interviewed Gibbons, and what he told me on the floor of Comic-Con was Alan Moore told him what basically instructed him completely what to draw on the page. Like, his scripts go so nuts. Like, if there's a book on a shelf, he titles that book on a shelf in the background. So you know, and that um so Gibbons is always signed off on before Watchmen. He's all about this stuff, you know, because he doesn't care that much. Alan Moore wants nothing to do with it. I think you got to respect that. Now, Alan Moore is a curmudgeon too. I understand that. I love that curmudgeon though. I love what he did for comics, and Watchmen when it came out, when you were reading it, when it came out, it was mind blowing. It was utterly mind blowing. I've never read anything like that before. Now I'm on record on saying that I like The Dark Knight Returns more because it was done with Batman. So it had more impact on me, but I appreciated Watchmen more as I got older. I still loved it. I was buying it weekly back then, and or not weekly, monthly, and from Thrill Books in Encinitas. That's where, and it was Tom who owned that shop who told me about it. I hadn't even heard of it. I was 16 when it came out, 15, 16. When did it come out?
Yes.
85, 6. Yeah, and it was I had a pull box back then. And I remember reading it, and I don't want this desecrated by some J.J. Abrams lackey. But that seems to be what is going to happen to all of our entertainment. God, I can't believe JJ is going to be running the DCU. That's so sad.
It is absolutely disturbing. This guy is just the worst. Just the worst.
But
he is the cinematic antichrist. I have dubbed him this, and I say it without irony. I firmly believe it.
I'm going to put some of that interview, which I swore would never, ever, none of these interviews ever did see the light of day. I put out a trailer once, but it was just, there's a story behind it, why they will, I'll put a piece of it in my video, but this will be the only part of anything that will ever see the light of day because of some stuff that happened in the background while this whole thing was going on. It was very, very drama filled and terrible. Bird of Prey 5. It's all.
Can I see it someday?
Oh yeah, I'll show it to you. I'll show you the whole thing. Yeah,
I'd love to see it.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember everybody we had on it. The girl who did I Love Led Zeppelin, Jeff Smith, Dave McKeon, who fucking was awesome, by the way. Gibbons was cool. He was freaking cool as hell, and everybody showed up on time, and it was cool.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a who's who of comics. I'm good, guys. Thanks for asking. We need to talk at some point. I have a very weird, spooky ghost story from my forum. You guys would love it. Chills. Well, yeah. I mean, how well, I'm sure it's too long to put in the chat. If you can email it, let's do it. I'd love to tell a spooky ghost story.
Who is this?
This is Bird of Prey 5. I'm sorry, Bird of Prey 5.
Nice.
$5. Kapla. Kapla. He sent me an awesome hat. It says, "Make Klingons great again." C Walker 94 for $2 says, "Plex info emails sent to you guys again." Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Piano Dean, I can read, for $5. Could there be a situation where an airliner has to make an emergency landing at Area 51? That airliner would crash. I don't think they would. It would have to be dire. There's giant lake beds for airlines to land on everywhere out there. I'm sure that they would. There's no shortage of landing space in the desert. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, you could, and I don't know. They might allow it, and then they might quarantine everyone and everything. It's possible. Bird of Prey 5 in the chat says, "Doomcock, I'd send you a hat, but I don't think it would fit over your helmet." Well, I'd wear it in disguise, Bird of Prey. I'd love to have one of those hats. If you would be so kind, I would very much appreciate it. But you don't have to. Don't feel obliged. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Gary.
That's all right. Yeah, I guess they'd let it land. It reminds me, I'm flying to Vegas, and the flight to Vegas sucks so bad. Oh, if you don't like flying, it's not the fun. It's not a fun. It's very bumpy. It's very, very bumpy because of the desert winds and the heat. Flying in at night is a little better, but flying in during the day is a God damn it. But got to do it for work. Doomcock has a really big, and then it doesn't finish. DJ show.
DJ D show. He just starts out. Doomcock has a really big blank. Wow. Wow. It's that match game. Match game 75. Doomcock
has a really big
blank.
Blank. I love that music. I remember.
I know, man.
It's got the little wah-wah pedal guitar.
Exactly. Do you get that channel buzzer It's all old game shows. It's just over the air here in well, I pull it down from Austin to the center of the earth, but at Austin, there's just a channel that you can just get it over the airwaves. It's just nothing but old
No
game
way.
shows.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I don't.
Super weird and cool. You'd think, oh, what bullshit, but I tell you, it's just you start watching it and it's like a whole other world. It's just amazing and weird and fun and addictive.
That's what I was the guy the Jeff who runs Creature Features, when they interviewed me, was telling me about this, and I got to find the information. He said there is a website where you could put up your content as long as it's like you don't cuss in it, and it's like half hour long, so you can take your videos and you could upload it to this website, and it farms it out to HD transmitters for public access. So I guess it's just this it's a single website. It's an aggregate where you can put in your content and it'll get farmed out, and they'll show your videos in like Tennessee on public access and Louisiana. I forgot the name of the site though. I'll figure it out. I'll just email and ask them. I might try that. That'd be funny. Just upload content, and I don't think you get any money for it, but it gets exposure, and then like
That's neat.
We'll get some fan. Yeah, because he says that Creature Features gets like all these letters from around the country, and he's all, yeah, I just upload it on this website and it goes everywhere.
Really?
Like, oh shit.
Where dude,
I'll find it
I'd love
for you
to.
and I'll get it to you.
Yeah, that's just weird and cool. I mean, I always have a big love of late night horror hosts on local TV and public access stuff. That would be so much fun. I just would be cool.
Well, if I can get you out here, he's asked me back, so if we can maybe get on that show and pub Exo Zone and Inquisition, I think it'd be fun.
That would be great.
Yeah, let me see.
Damn it, we should make that happen.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, he's got a little studio up in oh god, it's up north a little bit, Santa Rosa.
So would you welcome me coming to visit you?
Oh yeah,
in your home.
Of course.
I'm like a vampire. Unless you invite me, I cannot come to your home.
You're invited. You're invited. Jesus.
Because I might do that. That might actually be fun. Just come up there and meet you and hang out with you. Maybe even do a broadcast together. I would wear my traveling helm, which is basically a Mexican wrestler mask, and have a little fun.
Courtesy of Penn Farm Girl, right?
Exactly. Yeah, she's amazing. She also gave me my first taste of Johnny White Walker.
Yeah, which has a better ending than Game of Thrones.
Oh, so much.
Even if it's a hangover. Yes, Tim F. R.I.P. again to Rucker Howard. Doomcock did a great live stream yesterday on that, and really going over the guy's career better than anybody I saw in any eulogy anywhere on the internet. So well done on that one.
Thank you, sir. I mean, I didn't think about it. I just said, well, I'm going to get on. I thought I'd only be on for maybe 30 minutes or an hour, but it went a full 2 hours, and just spoke from the heart. It's just an incredibly sad thing. And thank you for those kind words. I didn't know what I was going to say. I started thinking it was going to be a mistake when I was having trouble even getting out the first couple of sentences. I think people needed to mourn someone who, the thing about Rutger Hauer is he had the greatest death scene in the history of cinema, in my opinion. And now that he has gone, that scene just,
that he came up with the lines for.
He came up with that Tears in Rain line and kind of edited the thing, and he really only had 1 or 2 takes to do it because daylight was coming, and literally they were at the end of the shoot, and it's like, dude, you got about 10 minutes to nail this thing, and he did.
Damn it. Thank you, Tim F. And Chris Persia said, that's odd. I was told Nerdrotic Live went live. Isn't it odd that you got a notification? That's great. It's because it's the alternate channel. That's why. Hail Gary, Doomcock, and chat. They do allow emergency landings at Area 51. It has happened. However, there are serious consequences. I perpetual punster for $5. I bet. But I mean, like, how, dude, how is it a fault of any plane if it starts breaking down? I mean,
Yeah.
who are they going to, punish? Eric K for $2. Later, all FYI, YouTube no longer says you're live. Huh?
Huh?
I feel live. Really?
I think you are. I think you are, unless we have finally bridged contact to the other world.
It says I'm broadcasting, says I'm live. Did it fluctuate? Maybe they didn't like me. Well, shit. Hang on. Let me go check. It says you're live. Yeah, I feel live.
Okay. Whew.
That's weird. Maybe they didn't like yeah, it says we're live. It says we're live.
We're live, damn it. We're live.
Somebody's saying he's high. Hey, he might be. We're not judging here. Eric K, we're not judging you. If you're high, that's okay. Just, don't do it every day. It's very bad for you. It's alive. But we can't be live for too much longer because I'm going to have to take off here pretty soon. But yeah, it's just weird. The disclosure thing shut down immediately when Unidentified ended. It's almost like it was coordinated, Doomcock, by the To the Stars Academy, who was the company that was the production company behind the show Unidentified. And amazingly enough, Nick Pope's In the Basement ran concurrently with these episodes. And when Unidentified was done, I didn't realize it was just a 6 episode series. I don't know if it's coming back or not for a season 2 or another part. We'll have to see it. They certainly ended it on a place where I want to know what's going on. And it seems like every time we get like a little teeny disclosure trickle that we might get a few episodes of Unidentified. And I guess the question, why do you think we're getting disclosure right now? What's the first thing that hits your head? Just theory, any theory.
I think that they are basically either disclosure is coming whether they want it or not, that someone has information that they're about to go public with, or the aliens themselves are forcing the issue because they're upping their presence and activity on Earth for some unknown reason, at least to us.
I think I would definitely go for the latter. Because here's what I think. I think we've been in contact with some, not all. I think there's multiple entities here. I think a lot of them could be in the damn ocean. And when there's people here, there's species here who we don't know, never seen, never will. And whatever this thing is, it is ramping up to the point where they have people who just got off active duty who have retirement to think about, like their lives to think about that could be destroyed by saying this stuff in public. And people have been destroyed by saying stuff in public in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, all these military people are just talking freely. And some of them are active duty with no consequences. Then the Navy changes their rules. And one guy was a radar operator. He said the most alarming thing is it's raining UFOs. He said there was 100 some of these 40-foot Tic Tac things in our atmosphere, and they dropped to 55 feet above sea level in 3/4 of a second with no sonic booms, which is impossible.
Oh my God. Yeah.
If they're within our reality, it is impossible. Now, if we're, seeing people in like little reality, or people, not ships, in like little reality bubbles, maybe, I don't know. These things can't be drones because of that. That's the one thing that convinces me they're not like some other countries' drones. So what are they? I have no freaking idea. But I think the Navy is that concerned at this point. But it must not be alarming concern because it has enough time to produce a show, which, I mean, this takes a year minimum to produce a show like this.
Mhm.
And so I don't know how concerned they are. Or they must know, they obviously know more than they're telling us. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'd love to hear your guys' theories on this because it's awfully weird because honestly, I was always of the opinion that we would never ever get disclosure in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. I guess it's being forced on them. And I think you're right. I think it's much more likely if somebody had something, they would just silence them. Um, so if in fact they are concerned, it's pressure from beyond. It's not the citizenry. I think it's
No.
it's something else. And I wonder why they're stepping up activity if they are.
Yes. And they're trailing our military. And it's not like, I mean, we're in skirmishes and stuff, but it's not like the Cold War. You know, you could certainly understand uh, if you're a science fiction fan or all are into this stuff, why UFOs would buzz our nuclear bases. I mean, yeah, of course. We're about to kill ourselves. And, you know, it's kind of, you know, it's like a baby with a knife or something. It's like you want to try to get that knife out of its hand and keep an eye on it and hope it doesn't stick keys in the light sockets and stuff or the plugs, you know, stuff babies do.
Right.
Yeah, it makes sense. This doesn't. I mean, like, why would a UFO care, you know, about what we're doing in Syria? But they said that that this group on the East Coast that witnessed the UFOs, it followed them to the Middle East.
Wow.
So yeah, that's really so that at first that would make me think it is one of our, you know, one of our adversaries tracking us, but these things are doing, and unless they're light years ahead of us, then we are in a whole different serious set of troubles. So, yeah, I'm trying to see if we're going to get a season 2 of that, but it doesn't look like it.
Well,
Um,
probably mission accomplished.
yeah,
No. They've done as much as they want to say, and they're not going to say no more, which kind of lends more credence to the fact that it's a government sponsored operation because a for-profit network show would definitely be trying to milk a second season.
yes, and on it's not even on TV series finale. What the hell? That's weird.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking at the place that is an aggregate for all the TV ratings, and it's not there. Underground, Unforgettable, The Unit, Unsolved. No, it's not there. You can't look up the
Wow.
ratings. That's bizarre.
Well, I
That's
wonder
very
what that
bizarre.
means.
Yes, the ratings are confidential.
Mm.
Wife calls them friends in space. Is Scarecrow 2311? Does your wife know something we don't, or maybe you don't? Just kidding.
Close
I'm just
encounter of
kidding.
the sixth kind, or the 69th kind.
Yes. Uh,
Do not
my
run. We love your wife.
yes.
Oh.
Oh, hey, maybe your wife is keeping us all safe. Scarecrow, I'm just kidding.
We're kidding. We're kidding.
Scarecrow, we love you. We
It's a
love you.
joke.
Um, friends with benefits in space. Well, Whitley Strieber seems to really like his community. They just talked to him. I was watching Ancient Aliens. Oh my god, it was the worst episode, guys. It was the worst episode. So they are, I mean, they're in season 14. They are really stretching it. So the last episode was about the druids, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna get into the druids. I freaking love the druids, right?
Yeah,
Um,
of course.
so they tried to connect the Dolmans in the Hudson Valley to Whitley Strieber's abduction because he lived in the Hudson Valley. So the Dolmans are their belief was they're built or they're made on top of like an energy portal or a magnetic anomaly that attracts the UFOs. And there was a huge UFO flap in the Hudson Valley in the 80s, like a massive one. There's pictures of it and everything. Where day after day after day, these UFOs would show up. Whitley Strieber was first abducted or visited in the Hudson Valley, which is a giant place. I mean, that's, you know, it's like saying an entire state almost. And they equated the Druid dolmens to being visited by aliens. And the only connection was there was a magnetic anomaly under a giant rock. Well, guys, I love Ancient Aliens. Love you, Giorgio. Giant rocks emit electromagnetic energy because they're giant rocks. That's what they do. Okay, that's Jesus. And they have their little, you know, magnetic detector, and it's all going crazy. It's like, yeah, it's a big rock. There's all kinds of things in it, like iron, and you know, Jesus Christ. Armchair Warlord for $2. Ever heard of the weird towers in Tibet? Hail, Doomcock and Gary. Are they called the weird towers?
The weird towers. In Tibet. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
I've not heard of this.
Enigmatic towers of Tibet remain unexplained. I've never heard of these things. Wow.
Oh, dude, we need to investigate this.
We're
That's
checking
a hell
this
of a
out.
tip.
It's like the two towers, man.
Wow.
I was just watching that last night, by the way.
Oh, I know you were. Did you enjoy it?
Oh my God. Golem is the best representation on screen of the torture and despair of addiction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here are the
fantastic. The damn CGI too is the best I think I've ever seen. For a character.
Still holds up. Everything holds up. It's the best trilogy ever. Yeah, these are weird. What the hell are these?
Wow. That is astonishing. What are they?
Towers of Tibet remain unexplained. Let's go to this article and find out. 30 years ago, only 30 years ago. When was this article written? Okay, 2016. That's still pretty recent. 30 years ago, French explorer Michael Pizel, who is known as the founder of the source of Mekong River, went deep in the inaccessible forest of Tibet and the neighboring province of Sichuan. In the Himalayan valleys close to the Chinese border, he found a number of mysterious stone star-shaped towers. They just discovered these things 30 years ago?
Wow.
In his next expedition, Pizel was accompanied by another French explorer, Frédéric d'Aragon, who arrived in the Himalayas to explore the populations of snow leopards. But when she saw the towers, she quickly forgot about the initial purpose of her expedition. Some of these star-shaped constructions are located in the nearby villages, while others are hidden in the mountain valleys. Locals know nothing about the enigmatic towers, neither who built them, nor when they were built. In the past, the towers contained wooden stairways leading to the top, but the steps have been used as building material or firewood. Gathering data about the strange towers isn't an easy task since most of the locals speak different languages and communication with them is extremely difficult. Not only that, but most of the ethnicities do not have written language, so we can't really rely on historical documentation. Exploration of the area is also quite difficult. There are practically no roads, and the summer rain season turns the area into a completely inaccessible swamp. Frédéric d'Aragon looked for help in the local Buddhist monasteries, but the monks didn't find anything in their documentation concerning the towers. These constructions were mentioned only in Chinese scientific treaties from the Ming Dynasty.
Wow.
Okay, so we know they're at least that old. and some diaries of English explorers who visited the region in the 19th century, but the towers remain largely unexplored to this day. At least 2 more of the towers were discovered in neighboring Afghanistan, but one of them is turned into a mosque a long time ago. Daragon took samples of the wood from 32 towers. When radiocarbon dated, the samples showed that to be 600 to 700 years old, but some of them were 1,000 to 1,200 years old. It turns out that one of the towers was built long before the Mongolian tribes invaded Tibet. According to the researcher, the purpose of the strange star shape is to provide sustain against earthquakes. But what was the purpose of the towers themselves? Some historians believe that they were used as totems, or they were used, or they have symbolized the string, which, according to the Tibet legends, connect the earth with the sky. Others claim that the towers were defense structures or watchtowers used to warn about impending dangers. There's also the hypothesis that the towers may be served as some kind of optical telegraph. Every tower is located in the way it is in a way that its apex is visible from the other towers. It is possible that fires set at the top were used to signal devices, but that would require engineering skill, mathematics, and they don't have a written language. According to local legend, a tower was built every time when a ruler had a new child, and every year on the child's birthday, a floor was added. Weird. That's weird as hell.
That is very weird. I've never, ever heard that.
And it's weird that they're still finding stuff like, they get, just even in the rainforest of South America, they just recently found that there's like, 60,000 structures in the rainforest of Guatemala, like in the forest that the forest grew over. So how old is that? I mean, that's nuts.
Man, there's so much strangeness in the world. I don't know, at some point, the thing that comes to mind with these weird towers and watchtowers is I'm remembering John Dee, Dr. John Dee, and his experiments with the Enochian angels, his communications with them to open the watchtowers so that these Enochian angels, we're not sure what would have happened, but I know that there was mystical, he was trying to discern their alphabet, and he was trying to do workings to open these watchtowers, work that Aleister Crowley then subsequently took up, attempting to open these many locks that kept these watchtowers closed, which seems to me a really stupid thing to do. So,
right? Who knows? Maybe there's some sort of semaphore what's that?
They're awful cool looking, though.
It's the Paradise Syndrome.
Oh, right. Miramani. Maybe those things are asteroid deflectors, which don't really work that well.
Apparently,
maybe they do.
Maybe they do. Yeah. Apparently, the Vatican has some very old knowledge buried in their underground libraries. It said Atechi. Yes, you know where most of the Vatican library is now? It's in Canada.
Ooh,
to Canada. And the Vatican Library houses probably things from the Library of Alexandria, because there are some of the people who raided it and burned it down. So,
disguised as a maple syrup factory, the Vatican in Canada houses the largest collection of porn in the world.
Yes, the earliest collection of porn from Roman times. And porn in Roman times was on the walls of buildings and stuff. But I blame Canada, Nina Fabiano. But no, I think Canada has like a lot of stuff. Not Canada, but the Vatican. Yes, I believe that. So we're gonna wrap this one up. It is time for me to go get Junior at his camp. So plug your channel, Doomcock.
Thank you. I would like you guys to subscribe. YouTube.com/OverlordDVD. I have also got a Patreon, patreon.com/Doomcock, subscribestar.com/Doomcock. And I have a store, an online store, Zazzle.com/DVD Shoporama, which has a lot of Doomcock and Harvey related merchandise. So please check it out and subscribe.
Check it out. And yeah, I got a channel, Nerdrotic. Go check it out. What's coming up this week? Yeah, I got Star Trek next week, so I have a schedule up. I will try to stick to it as much as possible. I'm back to doing my daily morning half-hour live streams on Patreon and on Subscribestar. They're mirrored there. So we talked a little bit about Watchmen this morning. And yeah, there's a lot to talk about with that. So yeah, many videos to come. I'm sure we're going to get back to work, everybody. We'll be back with the ExoZone next Thursday because I'll be back from Vegas by then. Or no, wait, no, is it next? When am I leaving? Hang on. I might have to scratch that. Let me go check my schedule here. Yeah, I can't do that. Sorry. I'll be at Star Trek. So we're gonna have to skip a week again, but that'll be the last time we skip a week in a long time. And so be back on Doomcock's channel on the 8th of August. We will
Sounds good.
The Inquisition's going to stay in place though. So the next, I will be doing an Inquisition from Vegas. But we do have an Inquisition coming up this Sunday.
Yes. Lots of stuff to talk about.
Oh God. Yeah. I got to find out what Robert Meyer Burnett said today. And of course, check in with other people as well. So everybody have a great day. Please like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for supporting the ExoZone. Thank you for all the super chats. Armchair Warlord, thank you for pointing us towards those weird towers of Tibet for $2. That was brilliant. Thank you so much. And yeah, there's a bye week. It's a bye week. Everybody have a great day. And remember, over here, we do not kneel. Bye-bye.